Hey, this is Anna. Welcome to my channel. This is a brand new nutritional channel. We're going to speak here about the science of nutrition, sport nutrition, neurotyping nutrition. Also, we're going to discuss everyday topics like how to make certain recipes, how to make a protein shake, how to food prep. So, helpful tips and tricks, kitchen hacks. So stay tuned and let's begin. Okay, in order to understand nutrition, we have to describe first nutrition. What is nutrition? Nutrition is a biological and a physiological process by which an organism uses food to support its life. Under this process, these organisms extract from the food nutrients. What is nutrients? Nutrients are substances what these organisms uses to grow, reproduce, and survive. Nutrients we can classify 7 major categories which are relevant to animals, including humans. Some of the categories probably you're familiar, but let's see what are these categories. Carbohydrates, dietary fiber, protein, fat, water, minerals, and vitamins. Then these nutrients, these categories, we can divide 2 big categories as well. Macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients, like the name itself, macro, is referred to a larger amount, meaning these nutrients which are falls under this category, we need it usually in terms of grams, but definitely in a bigger amount. Micronutrients are the opposite. We're going to speak about those in another day. We need milligrams or mcg micrograms. So let's go back to macronutrients, because today we're going to understand the macros and the macronutrients basics as well. Categories are macronutrients: carbohydrates, including fibers, dietary fibers, water, protein, and fat. Alright, so a quick recap. We already understand what are macronutrients and micronutrients, and we know the macronutrients categories are carbohydrates, fat, protein, dietary fiber, and water. So now we're going to a little bit deeper in each category, and starting with carbohydrates, which is one of the most important macronutrients in my opinion. So what are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates actually sugar molecules. They could be simple carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, and dietary fibers. These are different kinds of carbohydrates. The similarity in these categories, all of them sugar molecules. Simple carbohydrates stands for one sugar molecules, as the name is say, simple. Another category is a complex carbohydrate, when more sugar molecules strung together. This gives them the complexity, but the body anyway going to break it down into simple carb, simple sugar, glucose. So basically, first the body breaks down the complex carb to simple carb, then turns into blood sugar, glucose. Alright, now we learned about carbohydrates, and now you understand the basics of carbohydrates. You understand the differences of different kind of carbohydrates, and maybe you even know which food provides what kind of carbohydrates for you. Now, if you would like to have a more detailed information or a more precise help from me, then click the link below and join to my Facebook group, where is freely available my grocery list called One Click Grocery List. I created this list for my lovely clients to help them to understand which food sources aligning under which category when we are macro counting, and also trying to help for people save time so they can focus the training instead of the shopping. How am I do that? In this list, basically, the food sources not just categorize itself, but if you click on the item, it drives you to the online store and you can shop easily and efficiently. So let's click that list, see the categories, and make your life easier. Now, as we understand carbohydrates, what are carbohydrates and what type of carbohydrates we have in our diet and the differences between them, now we should learn which food source provides which carb source to our body, to our diet. Let's start with the simple carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates widely available in a traditional American unhealthy diet. Food sources: processed food, desserts, simple table sugar, honey, sodas, candies, and so forth. We also have a natural form of simple carbohydrates, which a more healthy form of simple carbohydrates comes from fruits, milk, and certain vegetables. Now, we talking about carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, often as a little demon in our diet, but this is not ultimately true. Not just complex carbs, but simple carbs as well has an important role and has an important place in our diet. Next category is a complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates, it is a little bit healthier choice of a carbohydrate if we thinking about overall health, body composition, maintaining a weight, lean body mass, building lean muscle mass. Yes, complex carbohydrates are good choices for many reasons. But let's see the food sources right now. Food sources is mainly grains. Think about bread, pasta, cereals, and then starchy vegetables like potatoes, rice, beans, peas, and so forth. Third category was, if you remember, fibers. Dietary fibers, as we discussed before, it is undigestible for our body, and often you could see referring as a negative calorie, and in a label you find as a insoluble carbohydrates. What is that means? The body not capable, incapable to digest fiber. So itself, as you consumed per gram for calorie, it's not apply you to understand both carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, and dietary fibers are complex carbohydrates category. But the main differences between the two, one is soluble and one is insoluble. And one we counting in our macros, but the other one we do not count. The insoluble, the undigestible, we do not count as a calorie intake or as a carb intake in our daily macros, macro tracking system. Let's see the fiber sources. Fibers is widely available and comes from foods which made from or comes from plants. So you should think about fruits, vegetables, different kinds of nuts, seeds, whole grains. Alright, so that was it for today, and if you like the video, please subscribe and hit the like button. And if you like the PDF what I talked before, the grocery list, click the link below, join to the group, and you can have an access to it for free. Alright, I don't know, it was weird though.